Welcome to Afterbite, a Vampire Diaries fancast that's only 10 years too late.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the intro. I don't know why I stopped. Oh wait, are we on 9 years now?
I think it's close to 9 years now. I think this is 2011. Let me check. I have the wiki up.
Consult the ancient texts.
They followed me on one of my accounts, and I was just like, "Thank you."
TBD Wiki, if you're listening to this, follow us on Afterbite.
I accidentally clicked season 1. We're in season 2.
We're in season 2, episodes 11 and 12. Is that in 2011 yet? I think that's still in 2010.
It was the first episodes okay, so it was 2010 and 2011. We were in 2 decades.
Right.
Nope, that is wrong.
Not 2 decades.
2 years,
Oh
Brian.
my-
2 years.
2 years.
2 different years. Yay.
Hey Brian, could you do math before quarantine, or is this just like
No.
you being dumb? Okay, I was just
No.
wondering. I just wanted to check. Don't you love it when you watch something and then you finish up with it and then you're like, this is immediately out of my head?
Mm-hmm.
That's what these episodes felt like this week.
Yeah.
I watched them literally this morning and I'm not sure if I remember them now.
Yeah, they were kind of forgettable.
They were. There are moments, but
They're like, here's my thing with both of these episodes. They were kind of dragging throughout until the end where like, oh, exciting thing happened. But then the rest of the episode is like, I don't remember exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
So should we try and Frankenstein together the plot of these episodes?
Yes.
Oh, do we need to do my ratings for last week? Because I didn't do that yet.
Oh yeah, true. Let me see. Let me pull those up here because you missed an episode, even though you're in fucking quarantine. It's fine. We love you anyway.
The vibe check failed.
Bonnie Bennett would have just whacked you over the head by now.
Oh, 100%.
So last week it was Katarina and the Sacrifice.
Okay, I can
what are
already
you
say
ranking them?
Katarina, 10 out of 10. Like, oh my god, favorite episode ever.
Okay.
I love it.
And then
Mainly-
the Sacrifice?
That's actually a tough one. That's actually
I know,
a tough
a lot of
one. 'Cause it's like,
hawing.
that's actually a tough one because I don't really remember much about that except for the Moonstone plot thing.
Mhm.
Everything else is kind of just like,
I feel like that should be a
Elena.
part of your judgment of the episode.
I know. I'm not gonna. I know it's not low because I do remember. Like I did thoroughly enjoy this episode. Like
Brian,
I enjoyed it, but
I
it's
think
just
you
like
thoroughly
Did you,
enjoy
though?
every episode.
I do enjoy every episode because this show is amazing.
Yeah, but did you really enjoy it if you don't remember anything from it?
That's what I'm
listen,
saying.
Don't attack me like this.
That's what we're saying. If you can't remember a lot of the plot, maybe the episode was like okay.
Wasn't
at
that
best.
great?
Maybe it was okay at best.
Oh, this is what happened in. Oh, okay. So this is the Moonstone episode where Stefan gets stuck inside of the tomb. Get wrecked, Stefan. Elena like tries to get more answers about Klaus, and they meet like that vampire.
Oh, I know.
groupie
We
girl.
watched it.
I know
Yeah.
I didn't.
We discussed it. We watched it.
The vibe check failed.
We
Luca,
rated it. It was wildly
um,
different from your ratings.
Okay, I think I'm gonna say 7.5 because, like, it, again, not memorable enough, but still enjoyable.
Brian, do you want to know something fun?
You guys rated it higher?
No. For Katarina, you rated that episode a 10. Jordan and I both gave Katarina a 7.5.
How dare you?
And then for the Sacrifice, I gave it a 7, Jordan gave it a 6.5, and you gave it a 7.5. So we were kind of across the board on that one, but Katarina,
Just
discrepancy.
wildly different.
Listen, I just loved the Catherine and Elena stuff so much that everything else in the episode I just didn't care about. I just loved the Catherine and Elena stuff so much.
I think that should
List those
also
moments.
inform your rating scale.
No. Katarina was great because it was all about Catherine.
Fuck it. If Brian likes one plot, then he decides the whole episode is good, and you know what? That's okay. That's on him.
You know, that's his rating system, and we don't abide by that at all.
His ratings are always out of left field and very high. Our ratings are, there. His are just always all over the place.
And plus, Elijah with those quarters, the phew and the pew,
Okay,
like,
fair. That was a very
badass.
good moment.
Fair, that was a
Like,
good moment, and we said that in the last episode. We were like, that was a very
wow,
good
if only I
moment.
was there.
Oh my
I
God, Brian.
actually think I remember saying like in one of the the podcasts before this, like I was really excited to be in this episode because I love Katarina, but like, oh, well,
Uh-huh.
anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, this isn't an episode about Katarina and the sacrifice. This is an episode about season 2, episodes 11 and 12, By the Light of the Moon and The Descent.
Dun dun dun.
So I will note here, by the way, this is the halfway point of the season.
This is really
season
sad
as a whole
that
had
this is the
22
halfway
episodes.
point.
Mhm.
Yeah, 22 episodes. Technically, By the Light of the Moon is the halfway point.
Yeah.
Which makes sense as a halfway point, but it's not.
It's not.
I don't think, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think there was a break. Like this wasn't like a mid-season finale or anything
No,
like
this was a
that.
mid-season
Correct?
finale. This
What?
was a
This
mid-season
was?
finale.
What?
Yeah.
This was? And they
Uh-huh.
had like a break and everything after it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What?
Because this episode aired December 9th, 2010, By the Light of the Moon, and then The Descent aired January 27th.
They
Fuck,
couldn't
this
have-
was like a...
So they wrote this expecting people to be excited to come back?
How dare you?
We'll talk about it. Okay, Jordan isn't hot on these episodes already, but let's just talk about it a little bit. We might become more keen on it, talking about it, because that's kind of what happened last week. So
Yeah,
let's talk
actually,
about By the
yes.
Light of the Moon. So the Netflix description is, as the full moon nears, Caroline helps Tyler prepare for transformation. Damon and Alaric are suspicious when a stranger shows up looking for Mason.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Anyone who enters Mystic Falls just automatically assume they're supernatural because it's very likely you're correct.
Honestly, yeah. Like 90%
Yeah.
chance so far. Any new person who comes into town is probably supernatural. So, God. This episode starts out with Tyler making a phone call to Mason. And there is Mason obviously doesn't pick up because we know he's dead.
Wait, what?
He's dead. Yeah,
my
sorry, I hate to
God.
break it to you.
Lady Gaga's
But
ex-boyfriend.
somebody
How
else.
could you?
Wait, hold up. Hold
What?
up.
Lady
Did
Gaga.
he date Lady Gaga?
He did date Lady Gaga. Did you guys not know this?
No, I did not. Brian,
Taylor-
what?
Taylor Kinney. Hold on, I'll send it in the chat. But Taylor Kinney dated Lady Gaga. Like,
What?
for how long? Hold on. They were even engaged.
What?
What? Okay, you know what? He's kind of cute. I can see it. He has the hair. I can see it.
He's got the nice boyish face.
And the
Yeah.
body.
Sure, I'm gay, so I
Do
can't
what you
count
want,
that. But
do
I'm
you
like,
want
he has a
with your
nice
body.
face.
Yeah, they were like. They split after like, hell no, 5 years they were together, I think.
Oh my god!
God.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I didn't know he dated Lady Gaga. Oh no, Lady Gaga's ex-boyfriend. How could you? I love that Brian's here to be the expert on the Vampire Diaries universe, but then sometimes he just sprinkles in a little bit of like something just out of left field, just totally whack. You're like, hey, do you know this guy dated Lady Gaga? And you're like, no, Brian, I did not know that. But thank you for telling me, because now I enjoy that fact.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But somebody is listening in on Tyler's phone call. It's a lady who I just don't like her whole vibe.
Yeah, she's not passing the vibe check.
I just don't like her whole thing.
Jules is a weird lady.
She really is.
She really is.
I just don't get anything good emanating from her, you know? Like usually with the
Mhm.
character, even if they're like bad, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't feel that bad of a vibe from them. Like Catherine, right? She's like a villain, but like that doesn't mean I get like bad vibes from her. From Jules, complete straight bad vibes.
I feel like it's
The vibe check?
Jules, yeah,
Oh,
I
go
think it's
ahead.
because with Jules we know like she's up to no good already.
Yeah,
Like,
listening in on a dead man's phone is not already. You aren't gaining points for that, sweetheart.
and staying at his old place, apparently, because he had an answering machine.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's just like, who are you? Why are you here? What are you up to?
And also, I hate that. I don't know, just like her whole face, I was just like, I don't like you immediately.
I will
Um,
say her face
mhm.
kind of gives off like a mean, like bitchy attitude, if that makes sense. It's kind of like
Mean
she
girl
looks like
vibes.
a mean girl vibe. That's exactly what I mean.
Then we cut to the Gilbert household, where Bonnie and Elena are chatting about the Moonstone. Uh,
Ooh.
they're just having a nice morning chat. And then uh, Jeremy comes in to chat with them for a little bit longer. The vibes get a little awkward.
Very awkward.
Uh, and then Bonnie just kind of like leaves the Moonstone in her purse and is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go get coffee. Fuck all y'all. So she goes downstairs and leaves those two alone. And then Jeremy's like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm going back to my room because I'm an angsty teen. And then Elena tries to get away with the Moonstone. And
Yeah.
surprising nobody, she gets caught. She's coming down the stairs and Jeremy's like, and Bonnie Bonnie's like, okay, so do you have the Moonstone? And Elaine's like, no. She's like, I'm not lying to you, Bonnie. And Bonnie's like, well, can you try telling your face that? Which is a very 2010 line.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can I just say, very
just
2010.
Bonnie Bennett sees through your bullshit, honestly.
And also, Elena's lying face, terrible to begin with. Awful.
Yeah.
100%.
She always looks so guilty.
Also, I loved how basically Jeremy and Bonnie basically put Elena in quarantine.
They really did.
Like,
they were like, actually,
10
you can't leave the house.
They're like, yep, you're staying here. Sorry.
But yeah, so they magically, I mean, I say they, but it was Bonnie who did the magicking and trapped Lena in the house. So now she's on house arrest or quarantine at the Lockwood mansion. A knock at the door happens, and standing there is the lady we saw earlier. She introduces herself as Jules, a friend of Mason's from Florida. She reveals to Miss Lockwood and to Tyler that Mason never made it back.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird.
I know, weird. I wonder why that is.
Oh,
I feel
fine.
like
he's with Lady Gaga.
He's with Lady Gaga.
I feel like with this show you always think, oh, that person's dead. All right, next, because they kill so many people off.
Oh, 100%.
But then sometimes they're like, actually, remember that death that happened? It actually plays an important role in this plot line. We're gonna bring it back for you.
There are other people outside of Mystic Falls, Virginia that know this person and therefore question when they go missing. Which, correct. I love it. It's a good, I don't know. Sometimes TVD feels so insular with Mystic Falls and everything, how they don't know shit about the outside world or the larger supernatural community or anything. That it's nice to have a little reminder that the larger world is still out there. They still the world still turns, not just Mystic Falls, Virginia.
As the world turns.
Was that a musical reference?
No, it was a soap opera. Not an actual opera though. It was the thing that old people watch.
As the world turns. No, that's not the title, is it?
Yeah, it is.
I think so.
Hold on. I think Zach Rohrig was actually on that. Hold on.
Who was on there?
Hold on. Zach Rohrig.
I don't know who that is.
Matt
Donovan. He was!
Oh, that is. That is the subtitle. Sorry.
Oh, Brian's right about something again.
Brian, why do you have all this information just like in your brain? For what reason?
I don't know.
They're always at the fucking Mystic Grill.
Oh, 100%.
This episode especially, they keep coming back to the fucking Mystic Grill. And so Jenna and Alaric are there. Jenna mentions that she's helping host a historical society guest who's coming to do research for a book on small town Virginia or something. Keep an eye on that mouse. Good tool. It's going to help us later.
Yes,
then Caroline and Tyler are there for a little bit. So they're always at the fucking Mystic Grill. There's like they do this thing where they'll have like one scene ending in the Mystic Grill, and then the other two characters will enter the Mystic Grill, and it's my least favorite way to get out of doing scene transitions.
Yeah.
Just be like, in the Mystic Grill, you know, person A and person B are there, and then just as person B gets up to leave to go do something, person C and person D walk in, and then the camera pans over to follow them instead.
But
I get it.
I think when it's done outside of the Mystic Girl, I think that's when I enjoy it the most. Like a few episodes back, they were like I don't remember where they were, but they had like this overhead shot scene, and there was like two people talking, and then one person left and then another person entered. And I was like, oh, that's
Mhm.
so cool. I like that decision. But like when it's in the Mystic Girl, it's kind of like we get it. Everyone hangs out here. It's redundant at this point, you know?
I also just don't like the lighting inside the Mystic Grill.
Mm. Yeah, I think
I
we
just don't
talked
like it.
about this earlier, and like way earlier in this podcast.
Probably. So there is the next notable thing that I remember about this episode is that there's hella product placement on Caroline's car.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did
They
not
like
see
100%.
that.
they really like zone in on like it's like a Ford Focus or some shit. They really zone in on the back of the car, the focus part of it. And so Caroline and Tyler, by the way, their plot this episode is they're preparing for Tyler's werewolf transformation. The
Ooh.
other big plot this episode is going to be Damon and Alaric questioning Jules.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna let you know now. Those are the two plots that are really important, and then there's another one that makes a strong like third quarter push for the most important plot. So, Tyler and Caroline go down to the old Lockwood cellar. Tyler starts getting like chains and everything set up and ready.
Can I just say
Caroline has
how Caroline is just standing there, just watching him do the work, and I'm over
She's
here
like, if
thinking,
you're gonna turn into a dog, you're gonna clean it up. She's like a parent when they're like, if you want a dog, you have to walk it, you have to feed it. She's like, if you want to chain yourself up, you have to do it yourself, you have to feed it, whatever. I'll
and,
get you your wolfsbane, but fuck everything else.
and
You
it's
can
like
deal with these chains.
it's like so funny because like she's a vampire, she can clearly like help out, you know, but she's just standing there, just like, yep, continue working, yep.
Caroline.
She's
I mean,
super.
Caroline is Tyler's emotional support vampire. Let's be real here.
She really is. She's like, hey, I know you're struggling with this, but I also just did my nails this morning. You can deal with it.
I don't do trash.
Tyler is getting ready to go. Hey, quick question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tyler mentions in this episode that the guy at the hardware store said this setup was rated for like 5,000 pounds.
Mhm.
And then Caroline's like, "Is that more than a werewolf can pull?" And he's like, "I don't know." What do you think the guy at the werewolf or the guy at the hardware
The
store?
werewolf
Fuck. Let me rephrase it. How do you think the hardware store guy? What do you think he thought when he saw Tyler Lockwood come in with like and buy a bunch of fucking chains just like 2 weeks or like 4 weeks after he saw Mason Lockwood come in and buy a bunch of chains? Like, what do you think he thought?
Kinky.
You have to imagine though. The hardware store in Mystic Falls, A, must be bumping. B, must have seen some pretty weird shit over the years, you know?
Mhm.
Oh, 100%. They have a
Yeah.
don't ask, don't tell policy there. That is not how that sentence was supposed to go.
No, but you know what? It was correct.
Yeah,
it
you're
was
right.
You are correct.
Like they found that store like back in like the early 1900s, and the owner like just saw like a bunch of shovels getting bought and like shit
A
like
bunch
that.
of wooden stakes.
I just need
And
like
he's
a
like, you know what?
montage. I need a montage over like the course of the years since like the 1900s of that store just being operated in.
Kept in business by the supernatural population of Mystic Falls
Honestly, not wrong.
and the dads
And the
and the
dad.
Mystic Falls dads.
Caroline comes to kind of the crashing realization that Tyler's probably going to get naked at some point, and he's just like, it's not the Hulk. I don't get to keep my pants. I'm going to become a wolf. Which, you know what? You're correct, Tyler. You are right, and you did the right thing here by stripping down as much as you could beforehand.
Yeah, you're
No,
gonna
yeah,
waste clothes
100%.
that way, you know?
And we thank him for his service.
He did such a good job this episode. That's like Michael Trevino, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's his name. He did a good job this episode.
He did. He
I'll
deserves
just
an
say.
Academy Award.
I agree. His scenes this episode, whoa.
I know. I was like, oh shit. Luca gets approached by Bonnie to she's trying to dispel the moonstone. And they attempt to do so. They go up onto a roof in Mystic Falls during the full moon, and Luca makes some sparks fly. And
love that Taylor Swift song.
Correct. You are correct.
Thank you.
They dispel, in air quotes, the moonstone.
Yeah, problem solved, right? Everything's great.
Perfect. So, moving right on, Catherine tries to get into Stefan's head while they're in the tomb. They get down and dirty with it, and it was all a dream because she just likes to get into his head. Creepy.
Here's my thing.
Yes.
It's now been established that vampires can somehow just get into the heads of other vampires, you know?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And like, is that like something like that just comes like naturally? Like, do you have to like learn that skill, or is it something that just like once you're a vampire, you automatically know how to do that?
We kind of talked about, actually, the answer for this actually comes from Legacies. It is a learned skill. In season 1, where Hope convinces MG to help her get into the head of the necromancer, she mentions that they found the answer in like an old book in the library. So it's a learned skill.
Yeah.
It's not in one of those innate vampire things like compulsion, which we kind of come naturally to vampires. It's a learned skill. We go back to the, there's some more fucking stuff in here, but honestly, like I said, this episode kind of dragged fucking on, for no good reason. There's no reason this episode felt like it took a million years, you know?
Mm-hmm. I honestly think it was just like the combination of like just nothing happening, you know?
There wasn't a lot happening.
Of like just plots just like having of nothing happen, nothing of substance happening.
There's a lot of buildup for not a lot of action here.
Yeah.
So, the back at the Gilbert household, Jenna is rummaging through a closet, and Elena's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Jenna mentions again that she's hosting or helping a writer who's trying to write about small Virginia towns, and so she's getting them a bunch of research. And she like closes the. She says like, I got roped into helping Carol Lockwood, and then she kind of straightens up because I think she remembers that the writer's right there. She's like, actually, more than happy to help. And she closes the closet door, and there stands Elijah.
That was the most scary thing, can I just say? Like, a couple times this episode and the next episode, they really got me with those jump scares. I just was not expecting it, you know?
Mm-hmm. They did really
Especially
good with like the horror. Yeah, and especially everything Elijah does is like a jump scare. He just appears in a suit, and you're like, yeah. This and the next episode though did a lot of good horror
element.
Horror things.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Elijah's in the Gilbert household, and he mentions he is like talking to Jenna, and Elena's like, oh fuck. So she like runs upstairs super quick, and then you hear Elijah from downstairs. He goes, "Thank you for inviting me into your home, Jenna." Which, oh, ouch.
Do you ever think about how everything would probably be a little bit better if they just told Jenna all the information that everybody else in the household already knows, but they just keep her in the dark for no good reason?
You are correct.
Jenna will survive.
Sure she will.
That is like that's like whenever that happens in shows where there's like this, I think it's always like a female character who they're like, we must protect this person, therefore we shall tell them no information that might be vital to their survival. It just really annoys me to no end, because just like, just tell them. I don't understand what the big deal is. Everyone else already knows.
It's the same with Matt too. Matt doesn't know anything.
Yeah. Well, I
So
say more for Jenna just because she is in the household with the most supernatural things happening.
that's true.
So like, it would be vital for her to know. Matt, not so much. Like, it's just like he's just like connected kind of to like Caroline and Vicky and Elena, but like he's not like involved in all that supernatural stuff. But like Jenna's straight up in the middle of all of it, and no one's telling her anything.
Yeah.
We love a
she'll be
good
fine.
dummy plot.
Yeah.
I
She'll
love
be
a
fine.
good like.
Everything's fine with Jenna.
Uh-huh. You can stop saying that if it's not true. It's okay.
It's fine.
Okay. So Elijah quickly like makes his way upstairs to intercept Elena, and they are gonna have a little chat. Let's put a pin in that plot line. Go on back to Tyler and Caroline in the werewolf dungeon, where Tyler is kind of beginning his transformation, because it's the night of the full moon, but it's still pretty early in the evening. And with a full moon transformation, especially your first one, it apparently can it takes longer to start and just takes longer to finish, so it's just a longer transformation.
Yeah.
Which hate that for him, because it is a whole long drawn out sequence.
Yeah.
It's a whole long drawn out sequence in which Michael Trevino is acting his ass off, but it is a whole long drawn out sequence.
It's so hard to
honestly
watch.
though, it was the first time I watched that, I was literally like hearing like the bones breaking, like the screams of like, because Tyler up until this point was like the macho man character, like the typical high school jock. To kind of see him like knock down like 1,000 pegs and see him at his weakest,
and he's like crying. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's just
hurt.
painful.
It hurt.
Like,
Michael Trevino killed it this season.
Like for this episode, it did drag on a lot, but I will say like this sequence of scenes of like Tyler turning into a werewolf, it just like was like, it was kind of like, it was painful, but it was also very like captivating, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I loved how Caroline just didn't want to leave his side. She was just like, "No, I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you." And he's like, "Leave."
Especially
like,
because
nope.
she was like just putting her life at risk by staying there, you know? And she's just like, "Nope,
that's why
I'm gonna stay," even though
we all
like
deserve a Caroline Forbes.
yeah. She's like, "No, I'm just gonna stay, even though like my life is in danger by even just being here."
Yeah.
She was practically acting like, at one point she was just like laying on top of him, like acting like a weighted blanket for him, and I'm like, oh, babies, you're my children. They're my children.
Caroline Forbes in my life right now.
I need a Caroline Forbes, and maybe I need a weighted blanket.
Yeah,
you know, I just thought about that.
Ooh,
maybe I need
a weighted blanket with
Candace
face on it. I'm
a little weird, but I'll allow it.
Just a picture of Candace's face and just like protected by Caroline Forbes.
God, need that for me.
I do.
So back at the Gilbert household then, or wait, also I should mention, at the bar, Jules walks into the Mystic Grill, and Alaric and Damon both kind of try and talk to her. They slip some Wolfsbane in her drink, and keep trying to convince her to drink it. She's not, for reasons that we will go back to later. Those three are all there, playing the dumbass Three Stooges. Let's put a pin in that. Go back to the Gilbert household, where Elijah is now the new host of the hit game show Let's Make a Deal. He wants to make a deal with Elena. That is because we reveal, we know now, we know some more things about Klaus, namely that he is a recluse. He's a recluse. I don't know why I said recluse.
And reckless. And he's reckless.
And reckless. That's too. But right now, actually, he is apparently on the outs with Elijah. Elijah's trying to make up his brother's, get his brother's favor back by offering him Elena. Also, he is, though, at the same time trying to just draw his brother out because he doesn't know where he is.
Wait, do we know that they're brothers at this point?
I don't think so.
I don't think.
Not
I think it was kind of
technically.
like not technically, but we all know now because
We know.
we know, but like the characters don't.
Correct.
Yeah. It kind of seems, I don't know, to me it seems kind of implied that, well, actually no, it doesn't really. They're
No,
just
I remember when that
original
twist kind of
vampires.
came, because I remember watching it live, obviously. So like, and for the first time, like I just suspected like it was a group of people who just turned into their first vampire. Like Klaus and Elijah were the first vampires. I didn't expect like a whole horde of them, and let alone them be a family.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, oh, when like I don't remember what episode they revealed in, but it was kind of like a oh no.
Yeah. So I know we've already kind of been speaking about them like brothers on this podcast. So just so you know, that is not in canon knowledge for the characters at this time. They just know there are two original vampires,
and who happen to be like brothers.
Yeah, they happen to be squabbling like family. Wonder why that is. They also, at this point in time, they think Klaus is the oldest vampire and like the biggest and baddest of them all. But technically, right now, if Klaus and Elijah were to fight, they would be on a similar like a level playing field.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you
100%.
that now.
They're trying to make Klaus seem like he is the ultimate evil.
Exactly.
They're trying to make him into the big bad, you know?
He kind of
and
actually is. It really does, because I remember like every time they mentioned Klaus, like it was scary. It's like,
yeah,
oh, like even like the big bad Catherine Pierce is scared of Klaus, and like if Catherine Pierce is scared of someone, you better be scared.
Yeah. They really are setting him up quite well to be the next big bad villain, but it's also kind of a threat that we'll see after these episodes is going to be a little bit on the back burner. There's more pressing issues to deal with.
You know, like werewolves?
Exactly, but we'll get into that later. So Elijah wants to make a deal with Elena he'll protect everybody that she loves. And he makes a deal. And he gets Stefan out of the tomb, which we'll get to later. But he helps her out. She helps him out. She'll stop trying to run her martyr act. I think another thing was that
I think another thing that he said was that if Elena agreed to the deal and he drawed Klaus out, he would kill Klaus. Correct?
Yeah. Klaus,
I think so too. Yeah, he would kill Klaus because he would basically Klaus. I love that name though. Like it's kind of cool.
Stop.
What?
Don't be horny on this good Christian podcast. This
is
a horny
free zone. Earlier, thirsting over Michael Trevino.
This is a horny free zone, Brian.
Meanwhile, Tyler Lockwood, hello.
This is a horny free zone. Yeah, so he's gonna try and kill Klaus.
Yeah.
So there's that. Now we know. I know last episode we were wondering why Elijah had saved Elena from being taken to Klaus. And now we know why. We know why he was kind of running interference there.
Oh, fun fact. This is the 4th episode of the season to have all the main characters in it.
Oh, that's fun.
Good for
they
them.
They use all of their characters. Not though in the best way. We've seen them use them better. This episode felt a little crowded with plots that really didn't matter that much.
I mean, let's not forget how amazing Masquerade was.
That's true. Exactly. That's like a good way of using all their cast. This episode, bad way of using all their cast.
It just felt like I feel like I don't know why it was so bad. I think it might have been just like I feel like a Masquerade, they like had good groups of people, you know? And like They were like very intentional, like these group of people are like here, these group of people are like here. While with this episode, it kind of like they used one character and they were like, okay, goodbye for the rest of the episode, or you're not really in this one, bye. And it's just like, okay.
Oh,
They
okay. So
didn't.
fun little behind the scenes fact. Apparently, it took 16 hours to film the transformation scene.
Oh,
Jesus
my
Christ,
God.
Michael Trevino, you absolute fucking trooper.
Maybe that's what
The
the rest
article
of the
the article
plots
was
are like.
deleted, like, but like oh god, I believe the TVD wiki. Like, oh my god. Oh, I can't even imagine that.
Maybe that's
He
why
would've had to
all the
drink
other
so much
plots
fucking
were
water.
kind of like,
I really hope he got like a good break after that.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, the reason why I think this episode felt like a worse use of the cast, of the whole cast, is because in Masquerade they were in groups. You
Yeah.
know, it was like groups of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
This one, it
Yeah.
felt like a lot of pairing off, and so there's so many cast members there to have to pair off and juggle the fact that they're doing 5 different fucking plots, like paired off like that. It doesn't feel as effective as having one plot that involves 5 characters and another plot that involves 3.
It
You
loses
know, it
its
feels like having 4
cohesiveness.
plots that involve 2. Yeah, it just feels muddy. Anyway, we're honestly okay, so we're honestly at this point, we're like 3/4 of the way through this episode, and you can tell by how kind of quickly we're moving through it. Not a lot of cool shit happened. The other thing here is that Jules is revealed to be a werewolf. She smells the wolfsbane in her drink and smells Damon, and she's like, "Don't fuck with me tonight, boys." And then they decide to fuck with her tonight.
Yeah. I will admit though, I did love how Jules was about to like take the drink and we're like, we're gonna find out she's not a werewolf. And then she looked at him, she went like, "Oh, you think I'm that stupid?" I was like, oh, she beat Damon at his own game.
Exactly. And she was like, "I smelled you the moment you came in." And then you're like, "Oh shit, werewolves can smell vampires? Oh fuck."
They were to finish that when does werewolves can smell? I was like, I kinda hope so.
No, something smells this week, and it's definitely Damon, because I'm not convinced he showers. You know, I don't know if werewolves can smell vampires or if Damon just smells bad, you know?
Yeah, she says you're marked, and I was like, oh god.
That by the way, super fucking dramatic for no goddamn reason. So fucking dramatic, but also love that.
Me too.
So she disappears into the night, and Damon goes home and finds Rose.
Yay!
And they're like, "Let's be friends. You need a friend. A capital F friend." And then for some reason they like go to sleep together again, and who fucking knows why. I just hate that they keep doing that. Like, just let her have friendships, you know? In Tyler's transformation werewolf cell, Tyler completes his transition into a werewolf. He starts to go after Caroline, and Caroline's like, "Oh fuck, better bounce." So she runs out, boards up the door, and like tries to stay close to the door, but werewolf Tyler is fucking vicious and will not be stopped. He sticks his little werewolf nose through the door, and she's like, "All right, time to yeet."
She's like, "Bye."
Later. Love you, but later.
Can we just talk about can we just talk about how she uses a piece of board like to try to block him further, and somehow that works?
Yeah.
I mean,
it works, man. Listen, werewolves are dogs. They're not that fucking smart. They're fucking dogs, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I also think it was also because she ran away, so he no longer had the overwhelming scent of vampire there, you know? I think it was a combination of the two, but also wolves are just big dogs, so they're not the smartest of creatures. And that's okay. Because big fucking mood. So then we cut to the mansion, the Salvatore house, the mansion. Jesus, how fucking pretentious am I? We cut to the Salvatore house, where Damon and Rose are just like chit-chatting, and then they hear like a weird crash in the parlor. They go and investigate, and there's a fucking werewolf in the house.
I mean, it's fine.
Just right there.
Just hanging, you know? So there is a scuffle, and the werewolf bites Rose.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
And then you're like,
Oh no.
oh, they really just brought back this character to
To
kill her off, huh?
Yeah,
But
I
then-
mean,
But then the werewolf bite heals because of the vampire healing.
then we're fine.
So maybe it's kind of like the silver thing, you know, where not everything in werewolf legend was true.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a little bit of that. So you know, good for her. So, a little bit later on in the night, somebody visits the tomb.
Dun dun dun.
Who is it? Stefan and Catherine both go to the entrance to see Elijah. He's back, baby. And he looks
never left
impeccable as ever.
Amazing. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I love Elijah. I do gotta say,
Oh,
he's
me
just so
too.
fucking dramatic. He's like, thank you for
Yes.
having the good sense to be frightened. You fucking dramatic hoe. Like, God, I fucking love you.
I'm so happy that he is the first original we met.
Honestly, yeah.
But if it was like any other original that we met, I feel like it wouldn't be as exciting. Like if it was like one we'll meet in like season 3.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I will take this guy. I'll take this guy.
He's a good dramatic, like, he's
Vampire.
just a good drama queen. You know, he's a good pre-villain villain.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Like, you know, he's not the biggest bad, but if there's a bigger bad than him, you're having a hard time picturing it, you know? I also just wanted to mention, I don't know if this was just me because I was listening on like better headphones than usual, but is his voice in this episode, is it deeper than what his voice kind of mellows out to be later?
I have no idea.
Like, is it different, Brian?
I don't know, because he sounded different like in the first episode we met him in, but then he kind of started to go a little bit more British.
Mm-hmm.
Or
But then
whatever.
I don't know what it was about the scene with when he was playing Let's Make a Deal with Elena. I don't know what it was. It just sounded very deep, and I'm like, your voice really isn't that deep usually. I don't know if it was just the headphones, but
maybe.
Fucking we love all these. We love an Australian playing a British man, kind of.
Wait, he's Australian? I thought he was just Canadian.
I thought he was Australian.
I thought he was Canadian.
Fucking
the
TVD wiki.
Hold on, Daniel Gillies.
Maybe
Canadian
he is Canadian.
born. Nope, Canadian born New Zealand actor. There we go.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
New
he was born in
Zealander, sorry.
Winnipeg.
Not Australian. Sorry, but close enough.
Nope. He was close.
Haha, it was close though. I'm never close with shit like that. But we love a we love a New Zealander playing a British man, playing like a questionably British man with a kind of American accent. Who knows?
The accents on this show.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better, and then it's gonna get worse again.
Great. Wait.
Actually, it's not that
I'm just
bad.
thinking about like how Phoebe and Claire come in later in the show.
That's exactly what I mean.
I am no ordinary girl.
They're like any accent will do.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's great.
It's gonna be a fun one.
It's gonna be a ride, man.
It's gonna be a fun ride.
Enough talking about shit that is gonna happen in the future. You know what's happening now? Stefan gets released from the tomb because Elijah has a witch on his hands. So
Shocking.
the Martins just like lift the tomb curse
Yeah,
like it's Sunday
that's what I
morning,
was
like
thinking.
church. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
What? Like I thought this was a
I
hard
think-
thing to
here's-
do. Like
I think my thinking is that they've been practicing, and obviously, what was this? The first, not Luca. What's his dad's name again?
Just like Dr. Martins.
Dr. Martin. I forget his name. But Dr. Martin, he basically has been practicing his entire life. Like he's been practicing having Luca practice his entire life. So he's obviously going to be 20 times. They're obviously like 20 times more stronger than Bonnie. But like,
I also
how
think
come Bonnie?
I also think what they use here, because they specifically mentioned that Dr. Martin specifically mentions that we have one more thing to do while the moon is out. I think they draw from the full moon, like that. This is a concept that we'll be introduced to later, but what's it fucking called? Like a Nexus Vorti or some shit like that, where it's like a
Apex.
celestial event that heightens magic. I think that's what they're using here. They just don't put a name
Okay.
to it.
I thought
They
it was the
allude
apex
to
of the
it.
moon.
I mean, they alluded to the moon power. Yeah, exactly. It's the moon power. They're drawn
But
off
that
the big shiny lesbian in the sky.
that makes more sense because I was like just wondering, just because even Bonnie talks about how like I think very similar to her grandmother, she like draws a lot of her power from like inner self, and it's only through Luca that she
Mhm.
learns like the idea of like channeling and like tying it to more of like an object. So I was like,
Mhm.
how did they
Yeah.
even do that if like it's already so hard to like just draw it from yourself? But that makes way more sense.
I also think it's a difference in power
Mhm.
source. If the Martins are using like a celestial event, which you'll learn later, this is just kind of the mechanics of how magic work. If you're using a celestial event, that's a big old jumpstart you can
Mhm.
get. If when we saw Bonnie and her grandmother trying to like undo the tomb, they were using the four elements. They were using elemental magic, not like drawing from the
Mhm.
celestial things. I think it may just be a difference in battery power. Also, the fact that Luca and Dr. Martin are probably more practiced than Bonnie
Yeah,
and her
yeah, yeah.
grandmother were.
Makes sense.
But I
Yeah,
think it could be a
definitely
lot of
that.
things, though.
Yeah, who knows? It's just they're a little bit stronger. They have a little bit of a kick.
They have the plot behind them. They have the plot juice, and they are just sipping it, babes. Oh, they got that good plot juice. So the tomb curse is just like lifted now. It's just gone. But
Yeah.
Stefan is the only one who leaves. You know why? Because Elijah compels Catherine to stay in the tomb until he says so.
Ooh.
Hardcore as fuck.
Yeah, 100%. He basically said, "Yeah, we're not done with you yet. You stay here."
Klaus will want to know where you are.
Yeah. Klaus wants to know where you are, and I was like, "Oh, she
She's
did."
dead.
She dead as fuck, dude. So hate that for her though, because shout out to Nina Dobrev's
Mhm.
acting. She looks terrified at the thought of spending more time in this tomb alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, Catherine has played it off like it's a nice little vacation, but now that she knows that the tomb curse is lifted and anybody can come in and kill her at any point in time, she's just a sitting duck who can't leave because her own brain is saying not to. Just,
Right.
oh, chef's
Right.
kiss.
Amazing.
So Caroline and Tyler celebrate that he made it through his first transformation. Love that for them. They're cute babies. I just
Yeah.
want to say that I love them. And then
Me
we go
too.
back to the Salvatore house, where Rose sits in front of the fireplace, and we learn
Her and Damon have a drink,
they have a drink, as they always
have a
do,
kiss, have a
as they
kiss.
do, and then, psych bitch, the werewolf bite is not healed. In fact, it's not gonna be healed. It looks worse already.
It looks like we're going
Yeah.
for a slow death. A slow death.
Yep.
Oh,
Uh huh.
100%.
Slow and
They're
painful,
like
baby.
they're
Just
like,
slow
you
and
know how
painful.
you just watch a slow and very painful scene with Tyler and him transforming into a werewolf? Get ready for some more of
It's
that.
going to be that.
But it ends with death.
Oh, yeah. Also, Stelina.
That too. They happen again. Love that for them. Love those crazy kids. Don't love their self-sacrificing bullshit, but love those crazy kids.
I love my martyrs.
Except they won't let each other be martyrs. God, make up your fucking
I
mind,
know. I
dumbasses.
know. Elena's like, Stefan, you can't sacrifice yourself, but BRB, I'm gonna go sacrifice myself.
And then Stefan's like, you can't sacrifice yourself, but I'm gonna go sacrifice myself, okay? And it's like, no, well, dumbass. I
Oh,
also
God.
wanted to point out there that maybe that slow death that we're gonna maybe that's the reason the pacing of these two episodes felt so off, because there was the long drawn out werewolf transformation scene this episode, And then next
And then the
episode, we
aftermath.
spend a lot of time with a long drawn out death scene.
Do you think there was a better
So
way
maybe
to?
that's just why I feel
Do you
bad.
think there's a better way to approach that?
No.
There are better ways to handle the plots around them, so the episodes don't feel quite so muddy like they do now. But these are two kind of long scenes, and if they wanted to make this werewolf bite thing painful, boy howdy do they. And that leads us into our next episode, episode 12, The Descent. The first episode of 2011, everybody. Hey, let's give ourselves a round of applause. We've made it through 2 years of TVD already. I'm happy for us. We are only
I was a
9
junior in high
years.
school.
I was in, 2011, I was in 8th grade.
I was starting middle school.
Oh. Nope.
Pixel, stop hitting my microphone. If you guys hear just something like rubbing against my microphone, that's
I was like,
Pixel.
me, what the hell are you doing?
That's just Pixel.
She bop.
Are you gonna... Oh, now she's just sitting on my mouse pad. Love that for her.
I love that for her, too.
So let's go into episode 12, The Descent. I'm psyched. We're finally in 2011. We're getting through these quicker than, honestly, I thought we would.
Yeah.
We've gone through now, what, like 30 episodes of TVD? So, episode 12, the Netflix description is, while Damon tries to get the truth out of Jules, he asks Elena to keep an eye on Rose, a situation that turns unexpectedly dangerous.
Very dangerous.
So, this episode begins with Jules waking up naked and finding out that she murdered a bunch of campers last night, and then she just immediately gets to work burning the bodies. She's like, I'm gonna just take these clothes, fuck this.
She legit was just like, oh, that happened last night. Oh, well, time to burn the bodies.
It's like being a werewolf just seems like you come off of the worst, 3-day bender. Except it happens in one night and you're a dog.
And you murder people.
Exactly. What, that's not what you do on your 3-day benders?
No.
Shame.
I mean, yeah.
So she also then gets interrupted by a cop. By the way, also in this scene, they kind of imply that werewolves have better than average hearing. Because of the way she hears the police radio and everything come up to her. So she has better than average hearing. Which is just a fun fact.
That checks out, you know.
They're dogs.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, they're dogs.
They woof.
It checks out.
They woof.
And then so she puts on an act for the cop really super quick. And then the
really bad act, I might say.
Yeah, she's like, they all got murdered in the night, but I look perfectly fine. And then she murders the cop. Just fucking bonks him.
Bonk.
Bonk.
Bonk. I'm imagining the filter.
As you should. She's fucking hardcore as fuck. She just murders a cop. This is by the way, her 3rd day in town.
Yeah.
Casually murdering the local PD. That's fine. R.I.P. to Jerry.
Was that his name?
Probably.
I think, yeah. It was Jerry to dispatch and then go ahead, Jerry.
Whoa.
And then he gets fucking murdered.
Sorry about that, Jerry.
His character development was very lackluster.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What's new with the Vampire Diaries? Come on. So back at the Salvatore house, Stefan starts drinking vervain to try and build up a tolerance.
That sounds smart.
Not yay, but also kind of yay. Not a smart move.
Here's my thing. It definitely I feel like it took Catherine a very long time to do that.
She mentioned it was
Are they just gonna, is he just magically gonna somehow do it in a couple of months and we're all just gonna be okay with that?
He's gonna have a Rocky-esque training montage where Elena's helping him do sit-ups and drink vervain, and then at the end of that it's gonna be 2 months have passed and now he can just eat vervain fine.
All right, cool, I guess. Sure.
Cool, I guess is a great way to put this. This entire show is just cool, I guess. So Rose is real fucked up. And she's gonna continue to be real fucked up.
Yeah, that's this entire episode.
Mm-hmm. So Rose is gonna die.
No, she's not. She's fine. They'll
She's
find a
gonna
cure.
die.
No, she's fine.
That's just evident. She's like, there's a scene later on where they bring this up in like a really cool way, but she's gonna die.
She passed away? Oh.
She's gonna die. So, Damon is gonna be going towards Jules for answers and see how he can cure a werewolf bite. He's asking Elena to keep an eye on Rose throughout the day. Because Elena doesn't
smart.
have anything better to do, like go to school.
Like, I don't know, go to school.
All the other kids are at school today except for Elena.
Everyone at school except for Elena.
She's gotta be no. She's gotta be like a truant. Like she.
Like, how is she passing classes?
Exactly.
How's Stefan passing classes? Oh, I mean, Stefan doesn't have to worry about it, but like...
Stefan isn't... I'm confused. Is Stefan in school or not?
Did he disenroll or not? He said he
Stefan's
was
only in school. Stefan is in school, but only when he needs to be in school.
He again has that plot juice. He has that plot certificate that just says, I need to be here today.
It's the Bonnie Bennett flex tape. It works for all the characters.
So, everybody else is at school because it's a good old-fashioned fundraiser.
Yeah.
I haven't done one of those in a while.
How many times have they done this before?
A lot.
This is one of the ones though. Tyler talks to Caroline and she's like, you needed help, so I helped you. Let me fucking help you, dumbass. And he's like, but why though? And she's like, maybe I'm just a good fucking person, Tyler.
Wait, no, I don't think that happens right now.
It's the general gist of the conversation, and then it happens again later.
Okay.
It's like a double convo.
Mm-hmm. And then Tyler walks...
It's like got interrupted.
Uh-huh. Exactly. So then Tyler walks away. Matt walks up and he's like, by the way, I'm just gonna kiss you.
I mean, iconic.
Just impromptu kiss.
Iconic.
Maddie Blue Eyes, please. Please, Matthew.
Endgame.
I feel really, to be honest, if I'm being completely honest, I feel really bad for Matt.
Oh, Maddie.
It's just sad.
It is sad.
It's like, oh, Matt, nothing's gonna work out for you, and I feel really bad about it. Sorry, dude.
I think one of the notes that I wrote was, you're not a liar, Caroline. And I was like, oh boy, honey.
Yeah, yikes.
You're just too much good faith in people, you know?
Yeah, but I think the thing is, like, Caroline's doing all of this to protect him, because she...
Yeah, that's what also makes it kind of sad.
I know, it's like, she's trying to protect him from herself, and she's like, fuck.
Yeah. Rip the ship that's just not gonna work itself out. It's like...
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad they get married, though, at the end of the series. Anyway...
Brian.
What? Spoilers.
Brian,
what?
Shut up.
That's a secret musketeer we'll use for later.
Shut up, Brian.
I don't know if that's real or not. Don't tell me if it's real or not.
It could be fake, could be real.
Shut up, Brian.
Find out in season 8.
Find out in 4 fucking more years of this podcast. Woo! But Matt kisses her and Caroline's like, not right now, please. And you know what?
No, it's not even like a not right now. It's more of like a whoa. I don't know what to say. I gotta go.
Yeah, she's just like, anyway, I'm gonna leave. Yeah. I'm just
She was like, bye. She had to get to class.
Yeah, you know, they're really like, you know, strict about being in class on time. So.
Yes, exactly. So now we go back to the Salvatore house, and wait, hold up. There's something else. There's a conversation Elena's having with somebody about the Moonstone. Is that the conversation she has with Rose?
Good question, because I do not remember.
Because there's at one point in this episode to somebody that Elena says, Bonnie had
I
help.
think it is with Rose.
Okay. She,
because then Rose like tells her something about how like her mom came to her. Oh wait, no. That's Catherine.
That's something
No,
else.
never mind.
No. Were we not paying attention? Oh my god.
Hey,
I was not
this
paying attention for a
episode
part of
kind
this
of
episode.
dragged. So let's just actually focus on the shit we do know happened. At one point in this episode, Elena's talking to somebody, and she says that Bonnie thinks that she dispelled the Moonstone, but I know she had help from another witch, and I'm assuming that witch was Elijah's witch, so no, the Moonstone isn't actually dispelled. To which I just want to point out here, at this point in time, Elena probably knows the most of what's going on right now. She probably
100%.
has the best idea about what's going on right now because everybody's trying to keep her out of their business, and by trying to keep her out, she keeps going in. So I just wanted to note that at this point in time, Elena actually on her shit. She knows what's going down better than anybody else. Better than
I
the
love
boys.
how the show's like this person knows all the information, but they're just really bad at communicating, unfortunately. So they're just gonna keep it all to themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
But honestly, that totally like tracks with Elena's track record of like
100%. Because I think like with all this,
to herself.
yeah. Because I think with this, like she's trying to keep everything to herself because she doesn't want her friends getting involved. Like she doesn't want people getting hurt, and she's like, which leads, I think, because we also skipped over Stefan kind of contacting Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
But yeah. But like he tries to contact Isabel thanks to a lark.
Uh-huh.
That's really about it. That's it.
That's that plot. That's it.
That's it.
That's the whole fucking thing.
All right, but Damon's bedroom. Let's go to the bedroom.
God, you're so fucking obsessed with Damon's bedroom. It's just a room with a bed in it, dude.
And a very nice bathroom.
And a very nice bathroom. I'll give him that. But you know he did not do any of this himself, right? You know.
Oh, 100%. He compelled someone to build this.
He compelled some HGTV-ass motherfucker to do this for him, because he's not giving a shit.
Damon had the Property Brothers come in.
I was just about to say that. The Property Brothers.
He probably did, honestly.
No, but Damon's room looks amazing, and Rose is like, you've never been here before, and Elena's like, why would I?
Which, true, why would she be?
Mm-hmm. She's been in Stefan's room, and Stefan's room is beautiful too. Like, goddamn.
That's true.
They gotta have good rooms. Which also makes me question, who got Damon's room in Legacies?
Or what is that room used for now?
Oh, God.
You know?
If that room had, if those walls had eyes and ears.
Are you trying to do a play off of if those walls could talk?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, but I forgot the word was talk. So, I just want to know what happened to that bathroom, man. That bathroom looks sweet.
Honestly, I will admit, that bathroom does look pretty fucking sweet.
Honestly, though. And I do love Elena's little quip, but she was like, I expected satin sheets. I was like, girl, yes.
Yeah, honestly, he's a man. He doesn't care.
No.
So.
And all meanwhile, this Rose is just dying, and we're like, the bathroom though.
Yeah,
looks
she's
great.
just. Yeah, she's absolutely casually dying.
There is a scene where Elena and Rose are talking in his room.
Mm-hmm.
And like Rose talks about how like, well, I guess I don't remember exactly what Rose was talking about, but they were like talking about something about like death. And I think Rose says to Elena that she's like determined to die. And like I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because then they have like the whole like Elena being determined to die, but then also like Rose is just destined for death.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, look at that.
Yeah.
Just right there.
God, I forgot about that.
It's also really fascinating because obviously like once you're a vampire and like once you already die once, you're just destined for that again at some point down the line, you know? Like you're not going to live forever no matter how much you think so. You're a vampire. Eventually you'll cross somebody or something will happen and you will die again. And I just, ugh.
It's sad. But I
Very
kind of like
cool
how
concept,
Rose,
though.
yeah, Rose is kind of like taking this in stride, though. She's like, I don't get sick, but
She
I'm gonna
really
die,
is.
whatever.
She's like, I hate this fucking cold. Kill me. Let me die. And honestly,
Right?
mood for whenever I get sick. Yeah, just fucking drive a stake through my heart. I don't want to be here if I'm sick. Fuck it.
But I do love, because I just reread this kind of thing. I love how Rose said to her, like, how Lena said to her, that you're not gonna die, and Rose is like, that's very human to say.
It's a very human thing to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it gets also much more interesting is that Rose starts hallucinating.
Oh yeah, she at this point she thinks that Elena is Catherine, and she's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Fair, fair.
Like, oh, and it's just you kind of start to worry now. Like, this is gonna be bad for Elena because yes, let's leave a 500-year-old vampire who is hyped up on werewolf venom in the care of the most precious human in the entire.
They even have like the lighting down. It's like this like yellowishy like tinted kind of coloring, and just like I'm a little scared. And then they have the music building up, and you're just like, I don't know what the F is about to happen, but like
I love it.
It's very good.
I'm a little scared.
So Damon throughout this episode keeps trying to convince everyone that he's not upset about Rose dying, but he do be a little upset. He do be hella upset. He tries to get Jules.
You do be showing it a little.
Exactly. He tries to get Jules to give him a cure, and she's like, "There is no cure. Fuck you, bite me, bitch."
Yep.
And he's just real fucking upset, and you can tell. And so I will say this episode, Ian's acting, some parts of it, especially at the very end, actually pretty good. I know sometimes we call him a lizard man wearing a mask of his own face.
What?
Have you not been here for any of the episodes in which we've called Ian Somerhalder a lizard man who's wearing a mask of a human face? Do you not listen to the podcast, Brian? We talk about it often.
I gotta go very quickly. I suddenly can't hear it.
Brian, have you not tuned into this podcast about how much we don't like Damon or the actor who plays him?
I thought Damon was your favorite character.
Brian, I love that you want to be on this podcast. You're like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do Afterbite. Love it. But then you're also like, actually, I will not listen to the episodes I am not in. If I am not there, I do not care. So
I know, 100%.
We call Ian Somerhalder, that's how you pronounce his name, right? I don't fucking know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, who gives a shit? I think it was it was the season 1 finale that we started calling him a man who's wearing a mask of a human face, and his emotion was just like cocaine. He had some really weird emotions during the season 1 finale. So he was like, he literally looks sometimes like he's wearing a mask of his own human face because his emotions are so fucking bonkers off the wall. This episode, though, he did pretty good.
I will say, yeah.
He did. This is honestly one of the standout episodes, like, for me and Damon.
Yeah. This is one of those episodes that I don't hate him as much as I usually do. And there's actually a really good moment with him later. Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a little bit because
I
Elena's about to get killed.
That moment.
Oh, about Elena being killed? Because same, I have many notes.
Not about that, about Damon.
It's fine. We'll talk about it later. So Elena Rose goes like berserk. She goes fucking mental. She gets a bunch of blood in her, and she's just like in the basement binging on blood, like Stefan was during his like party boy Stefan phase. And so she is getting she's getting all that, and then Rose sees her, and Rose goes fucking berserk, and they're like running, fighting through the house.
Wait, you didn't clarify who her is. Her being Elena.
Who cares? Rose is the one eating the blood. Elena is the one who is going to be fucking murdered. She manages to get away from Rose. It made sense in the way I said it. Don't worry. She manages to get away from Rose. Elena manages to get away from Rose. I'll stop using pronouns. I'm just gonna say their name every time. Elena manages to get away from Rose by opening up the curtains and making her run away a little bit. And then she barricades herself. Elena barricades herself in Stefan's room. I think it's in Stefan's room. Or just a room.
Stefan's room. And she opens like all the curtains, gets a stake, and she's like, I'm ready.
She really is. She's fucking ready. Which, by the way, great planning on your part, Elena. Actually,
Honestly, though, yeah.
good job. You're doing the best with a bad circumstance, but good job, Elena. So then, after we're in that horror movie, we cut away. We cut to teen drama, folks. Matt tries to talk with Caroline, and Caroline's like, actually, don't want to do this right now. And then Dana comes up, and she's like, hey, we need more hamburgers, Matt. Matt yells
And then we
the
get our
iconic
first-
line, not now.
Not now, Dana! Matt Donovan is the OG Lizzie Forbes. Lizzie Forbes? Jesus Christ, Lizzie Saltzman. I am so tired.
Brian, go to bed. You have quarantine. You're in quarantine. There's nothing better to do.
I have a burrito in the fridge. I gotta eat that.
That's my goal for quarantine. Eat that burrito. Okay. So Matt yells, not now, Dana.
And it's iconic.
And Elizabeth Saltzman is like, thank you.
Somewhere in not even a twinkle in her parents' eye, Lizzie Saltzman.
Not even close.
Not even close to a twinkle. She's just like, oh, that's a fun line. I'll yell that again someday.
That's a secret love, which we'll use for later.
Very much later.
Wait, I have something to say that happened beforehand that I forgot to say.
What's up?
What?
It's the scene where Stefan gets a call from Isabel, I assume. And I just want to know, we can clearly see the number that's on there, right? So, like, what happens when you call the number? Does it go to, like, a TBD related thing? Or did they just, like, not take the chance to, like, have
Did it
that
have the
number be
555 on
something?
it?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't
check.
that.
Because if it did, then...
It wasn't that. It was like a 913, I think. It was something 9 at the beginning there. I don't know, Brian, go back to the episode and find it for me. I'll call it.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
You got to hear a message from Catherine, Stefan, and Damon.
I think it's still up, like, on YouTube. You can look it up.
Yeah, I have it on YouTube. It's Catherine. It says, hello. For those of you who are Team Salvatore / Team Elena.
Here, I just have a transcript right here. It's reconsider your allegiance. No one has the slightest idea what Klaus is truly capable of when he shows, and believe me, he will show. Nothing can protect Elena, not even Big Bad Damon. Her only chances of survival is to do what I've done for hundreds of years. Run, hide, repeat. Then Stefan pops in. And for those of you who are Team Catherine, don't be. If history has told us one thing, it's that Catherine Pierce can't be trusted. Then Damon closes out this humdinger of a message with ditto, screw Catherine, save Elena, down with Klaus, you know, all that inspiring go team stuff.
That's amazing that they actually did that.
Love that they're like, we're not Twilight. But then they're also like, we're Team Salvatore, Team Elena, and Team Catherine. Like, bitch.
I have a t-shirt that says Team Elena.
Oh my god.
Team Elena, and then and on the back it says, I'm with stupid.
That works in every context.
And it rotates on an arrow, and it's like whichever brother she's dating that season, it just rotates to that brother.
Love that.
That's perfect.
Team Elena, I'm with that. I'm with stupid.
Love though that they've upgraded to iPhones now. It's 2011.
Yeah.
They have iPhones. Love that for
Product
them.
placement.
Exactly. Very good product placement. Caroline then, after being kissed and confronted by Matt, she just yeets out of school. She's fucking done for the day. So she goes home. She's out of here. And Damon continues to speak with, who the fuck does he talk with?
I think Jules or Alaric or something.
When he says, if it hurts, then stop talking about it.
Oh no, I think it was Elena because he went back home and
he went back home.
Right,
okay.
right.
He went back
Don't know what
home.
the fuck happened this episode because it was messy as fuck.
I honestly, my attention span watched this episode. I was just kind of like, because I also just gotten home and like had not slept at all.
It's also just a shitty episode.
Yeah,
it's badly paced and it's muddy. It's just muddy as shit. So he talks to Elena, and basically the gist here is that Rose has escaped, and he's upset about it because she's out in the wild going feral, which is not good. He also says the line, if it hurts, then just stop talking about it, which is the most macho man emotional avoidance bullshit I've heard in a long fucking time.
Damon said humanity canceled.
But also, just like processing our emotions in a healthy way, canceled.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, isn't that how Damon has always been?
yeah, this is also the man who thought How I Met Your Mother is like the height of emotionality. So the bar is the floor, and sometimes he doesn't even manage that. And this episode, he doesn't even manage that right now.
He's like at the Titanic.
He's way in the basement here. So then we go to Caroline's arriving home because she yeeted out of school and she's just fucking done with today. And then Tyler approaches her. And she's like, you needed help, so I helped you. End of discussion. He's like, but she's like, no, shut up. And then he kisses her.
I mean, we
The
all saw
drama.
it coming, right?
Oh yeah, we all saw it
eventually
coming.
was going to happen. I
really
loved
quick, want to
this.
say a quick moment of silence to say rip to Gyler.
R.I.P. Gyler.
That was never going to happen.
No,
R.I.P.
you know what?
Gyler.
I have faith in them someday. So moment of silence for those boys. We'll be back to them later.
No, we won't.
Shut up, Brian. Brian,
will.
They'll
Brian.
always be there in my heart, Brian.
Brian, here's the thing. If I'm gonna put myself through 8 fucking seasons of The Vampire Diaries, you best bet your ass I'm gonna have some dumbass crack ship to get me along the way. You fucking thinking that I'm gonna go in here and just accept the straight nonsense they're giving me? Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely
Get
not.
the fuck out of
Absolutely
here.
Not.
I'm not gonna wait until season 5 or 6 or what the fuck ever for the gays. Fuck it. I'm making my own gays now. This is my house.
Sometimes you gotta make things happen when the writers won't do it themselves.
This is my house, and Gyler is welcome anytime. So fuck everything else.
No, but I loved Tyler and Caroline because it was like they're the forbidden love. Like a vampire and a werewolf. No.
They're just like Twilight, but mixed
No.
with Romeo and Juliet.
They're star-crossed lovers. They're more Romeo and Juliet than Twilight, but I do love that for them.
They're more Romeo and Juliet than Romeo and freaking Juliet. Let's be real here.
No, I'm pretty sure Romeo and Juliet are the most Romeo and Juliet that any Romeo and Juliet is.
Romeo was an idiot.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, so is Tyler.
Oh, that's true.
They're all stupid, and I love them.
But then after Tyler kisses Caroline, Caroline's like, everyone needs to stop kissing me. And I'm like, same, Caroline. I also believe that. People stop kissing Caroline.
Everybody just give her a little bit of a break, please.
Thank you. She
Never.
deserves it. She's been through a lot.
She deserves just a few moments of peace, and also she deserves to choose who to kiss.
Yes,
not just these boys just being like, I'm going for it. Like, calm the fuck down, gents. So, next we come to the part of the episode that actually... Okay, so Rose goes on a murderous rampage. She kills a few folks, and then she feels really bad about it because Damon finds her and takes her back home.
There's a scene where she kills this couple in a car, and like you're like, oh, she's like, is she behind this girl? Is she like outside the car? And then she just punches the window, and you're like, oh my god, I did not see that coming.
It is a horror movie. Anything with Rose in this episode is a horror movie, and I fucking love it.
Lauren Conan went hard for us, and only us.
She really did, actually. Not gonna lie, this episode, she and Ian both went fucking hard. So back at the Salvatore mansion with Rose there and with Damon, Damon actually does something that is kind of sweet. This is going to be one of the few times that I give him some rights.
Yeah.
Because he does the vampire brain trick to get into her head and take her back home to one of the places that she really enjoyed going when she was a little girl. And it's cute because it's bright and airy and she can feel the sun on her face again. And
it hurt.
It
hurts.
It's kind of picturesque, you know?
It hurt so the first time I watched that, because we all knew it was that Rose was going to die. But it just hurt because it was like Damon has it's like one of the first selfless things Damon has done. He's giving someone his, like, their perfect last day.
Mm-hmm.
One where they're not in pain anymore, one where they're happy, and it was just like, Damon, god fucking damn it, I can't defend you, but god damn it.
This one though, this one's good. This moment
This is really,
is very good.
it's honestly one of the Vampire Diaries moments that like still stands out to me. Like is this one of those moments that you remember like watching the show and it's like, oh, this is the season, this is the episode with that, and it's like the season with this, and it's like, it's one of the things they kind of refer to it a lot. Not a lot, like they kind of refer back to it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. I would be
It's a
surprised if they
very,
didn't. Yeah.
it's a very standout scene, and it's just beautifully done.
It is. And so Rose is happy and feeling the sun on her face, and then she asks to race Damon to the tree line so they can just like have a good last day. And she's like, okay, yeah, let's start this race on the count of 3. She's like, I'm gonna win because I'm older and faster than you. And he's like, hey, I'm controlling this dream. I can control it to cheat. It'll be perfect, which is a very Damon thing to do, and I love that for him.
Yeah.
This moment in time so far seems very almost out of character for him, because so far this is the first like kind thing we've seen him do for another person without expecting anything in return. Which, wow, we've had to go through 2.5 seasons for him, or a season and a half, to finally get something just good that he does.
Yeah.
But they start counting down for the race. And on the count of 2, right before they take off, Damon puts a stake into Rose's heart, and she dies peacefully. Actually,
I am still not over that.
I'm gonna be honest.
Still not over it.
I shed a few tears. It was just
Really?
a very sweet moment. Yeah, that moment gets me.
I just loved how like they intercut it like between like Damon holding her and like raising the stake, and they cut it between like back and forth, and it's just like,
it's
because
very
like, don't
good.
do it, Damon. Like maybe there's a cure, but like there isn't. So it's just like,
yeah.
I just loved Rose. It's like it sucked that we lost her so quickly.
Yeah, but 'tis the fate of recurring characters in the Vampire Diaries. So
Die.
she dies. I do really. I don't know. This scene also just gets me because they do have a really good conversation before she dies, where they're talking about. She's like, "Oh, do you think I'll see my family again? Or do you think I'll see Trevor?" And she sounds so genuinely excited and happy to see them again that it just hurts. It's a punch in the gut.
And she finally feels human again for the first time in like 500 years.
Oh yeah, that part of her.
And like she tells Damon like it's okay to feel human emotion. Like it's okay to feel human. And Damon's like, I'll never be feeling human. And she's like,
Sure, Damon, sure.
Yeah, she sees right through his bullshit.
And yeah, so she dies. It's a good fucking moment. That is the one. I think that's the one standout moment. The Rose storyline from these 2 episodes is the standout moment for me, especially this one. I think this is a really standout moment for me. Like I said, I literally like teared up a little bit. 1 tear escaped. That was it. But it was
like
there.
Damon.
Exactly. It's very dramatic.
It was.
So then we cut to the fucking Mystic Grill. We cut to the goddamn Mystic Grill again. And
our favorite place.
Jules is there, and so is Tyler. She reveals that she is also a werewolf. Sorry, she's also a werewolf, and that there are more vampires in town than just Caroline.
What? There is? God damn it!
Shocking. Who could have seen that coming? Well, literally anybody with sense.
In a show called The Vampire Diaries.
I know.
Jesus Christ. How many vampires are in this show?
So he's like, just stop talking, shut up, I don't need your help. She's like, but there's more like us, and they're all coming. So first of all, we get a pack party. Let's go, baby. More werewolves. They're here.
I'm just hoping Tyler's gonna be like a really good friend and like tell Caroline this information and try to work things out instead of doing something that he'll possibly regret.
Okay.
You've just said something extremely out of character for Tyler, but love that for him. The amount of faith you have in Tyler, hilarious.
Oh, honey.
You got a big
honey.
storm coming.
So we don't have character development yet?
No, not yet.
Not quite yet.
Oh, all right.
Season 7.
No, he has some before that.
He does. He has a lot before that. But God, yeah, it's gonna be a ride when the werewolves come to town.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Then we go back to the Gilbert household, where Elena comes home and she sees Stefan and she's like, "Please tell me you didn't try to contact Isabel." And he's like, "Well, about that,
I did.
Uncle John steps out of the shadows and he says the same thing that everybody fucking says when they come onto the show, which is, "Hello, name." So he says, "Hello, Elena," and Uncle John's back, baby.
Unfortunately.
And he still has 5 of his fingers.
He still got his fingers. Happy for him.
Not quite. Yeah. But there was quite a scene before this, though.
Was there?
Oh, yeah,
No?
Damon and Elena.
Oh yeah, what'd they do?
Like
what was his character growth? Give it to me.
Damon basically denied that he was being nice and that he actually cared about Rose and be like, "I didn't care about her," blah 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 blah. And Elena was like, "Bro, it's okay to care." And it was a very nice scene for me. It was kind of nice to see Elena seeing the good in Damon that everyone wants to see, but Damon being like, "No, you're not gonna get it. Sorry."
The fact that everybody continually wants to see the good in Damon and he himself denies it so often is just shut the fuck up. Just stop.
Yeah.
You had a genuine sweet moment. You could have just used this for a genuine character growth moment. But instead, you're like, "No, fuck that." Bro, eventually people are going to get tired of trying to see the good in you when you yourself are not acting like a good person. And they will be correct to do so. And they are correct to do so, because you shouldn't be attempting to see the good in Damon up until this point. Bro, he has not done anything worth it up until now. So
yeah, because he even said he doesn't care that Rose is dead. He's over it. And it's just Elena knows that and is like, "Yeah, you're not okay."
Yeah, I'm just tired of his white boy bullshit.
I love it though. I hate to say it, but I do love when Damon shows a little bit of emotion. Then he's like, "Nope," and I'm like, "God fucking damn it, Damon, we're so close."
You're so close.
I just find it annoying.
Yeah, it's just annoying. I know you do, because you love him. But
I have a soft spot for Damon, but there are moments where I'm like, "Damon, shut the hell up and go away."
That's
and
the entirety of TBD.
And I'm like, "Just give me Stefan."
Yeah.
Yeah. But Damon doesn't do anything else in this episode. He just goes and grieves on his own and doesn't do anything stupid. Yeah, he doesn't do anything stupid. He doesn't. I remember something differently. He doesn't go laying in the middle of the road drunk and
he doesn't pull his fucking AAA roadside assistance act again. Definitely not. He's moved past this as a character. Except, he hasn't.
He hasn't grown as a character?
No, he has not, Jordan.
Wow. Who would have predicted that?
Damon's AAA roadside.
That's what he fucking does. He just goes and lays out in the middle of the street and somebody's like, "Do you need help?" He's like, "Yeah, I think so, actually. I'm having an existential crisis. Jessica, can you help me?" And then Jessica's like, "I'm just a person, so actually kind of no." And then he murders Jessica. And I think we should all be just done.
I think we all should be angry. And he tries to blame it on "Oh, I can't be what people want me to be." Shut up, Damon.
You could.
Shut up.
Emo.
You had a moment there.
Have you seen his hair?
Stop being such a crybaby. Stop it.
Man up, go to therapy, and get to fucking work, bud.
And it's so annoying, because you're just he's just trying to blame it on other things. When, Damon, you're just a bad person. You know this. You're just a bad person. Stop trying to blame it on something else. It's just in your nature.
It's just if you're... How do I put this? If you are going to realize that there is a problem with a thing, and then you have everything within reach to solve that problem, and then you don't, I don't feel any sympathy for you. You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. That's
Damon
it.
is
Because
scared.
you could kind of like try to find the sympathy in this scene and be like, oh, he just lost Rose, someone who's like super important to him. So this is like his way of grieving. But like, no, because we've seen him do this before, and you would think by now he would have learned his lesson because he knows that it's not the right thing to do, but he continues to do it.
It's like, okay, if the door to your bathroom is falling off of its hinges, and you have the bolts and you have the screwdriver, and you looked up a YouTube tutorial on how to fix the door, and then you don't fix the fucking door, you don't have any right to complain that your bathroom door is broken. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
If you have
Yes.
the thing to fix the problem and then you don't get to fucking complain about it anymore. I'm done with it at that point. I am either going to fix the door or I am not going to fix the door and make my peace with the situation. I'm just
Or you could lay in the middle of the road and
murder
idiot.
people for no fucking goddamn reason because you're
Uh-huh.
sad and you're trying to find somebody who will listen to you. Hey, you know somebody who would listen to you? It's called the therapist, buddy.
Therapist.
Damon can't afford that. It's not in his health insurance.
Health insurance. Can you just compel them,
Exactly.
like-
Just compel yourself to a therapist. I promise you'll have some character growth. It works for somebody else later, so I think you could have pioneered this here, Damon, but you did not. Anyway,
My God.
fuck this shit. If you can't fix a problem and then you choose not to fix the problem and then you continue to complain about it, fuck that. I feel no sympathy anymore. So Damon had his good moment. I acknowledge his good moment, and now I'm done with his good moment and I'm done with his shit. Let's rank these episodes. Jordan, what are you ranking? Episode
Exactly.
211, By the Light of the Moon.
You asked me.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm yelling now.
211.
I'm scared.
Again.
Mom, don't pick me up. I'm scared.
Mom, don't pick me up. He's yelling about Damon Salvatore again.
All right, 211. A boring episode. So boring. I was like throughout the entire episode, I like didn't know sometimes what was going on because I was losing track of time. It just dragged on and on. There were like some fun jump scares in there, and
Yeah.
we had the whole Tyler turning into a werewolf, which was like painful to watch, but still like an interesting scene to watch. But like everything else was like bleh, you know?
Bleh.
Like
As the
I
vampires
guess
say. Bleh.
like the only things that kind of got solved, I guess, was like Stefan being trapped in the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Hmm?
And then we finally saw Tyler turn into a werewolf.
Yeah.
I guess they introduced Jules this episode, but like none of her scenes are like that exciting. She's just stuck in the Mystic Grill for the entire episode. So like it was just not a good episode to me. And I think I'm gonna rate it. I don't know how low I want to go.
How low?
You know,
Can
because
you
of the Tyler scene, I will at least give it like a 6.
Oh.
Okay, a 6. Okay.
But like, if it was not for that scene, I would definitely be rating it. No, actually, I I think I have to rate it a 5.
Oof.
Oh, you're
Yeah, it's like
okay.
it was like not that great of an episode, and like the Tyler scene was like pretty cool, but like the entire rest of the episode was just boring.
Yeah. Was boring. Brian, what are you ranking it?
This is. I'm gonna go 7.5 because I did enjoy these episodes. Like they're fun to watch, but like they're not like the standout ones for me.
Here's the thing, Brian. I don't think these episodes are very fun to watch. It felt like kind of a slog going through these, especially By the Light of the Moon.
Oh yeah, it was not a good episode, but like I still like I can say like it's a good episode, but like I still like enjoyed my time.
Did you
I
though?
enjoyed.
I
I'm
did
like
not
thinking back,
enjoy
like
my time.
I enjoyed my time.
I did not. I was like, ugh, this is like, when are we gonna get to something? Where are we going with this?
It's a lot. This
Yeah.
episode was just by the light of the moon, especially. Besides, I mean, here's the thing about By the Light of the Moon. I think it's mainly a pacing issue. Because when I look at the plots here, the werewolf transformation, Elijah playing Let's Make a Deal, and them introducing Jules and other werewolves, those are three interesting plots.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, By the Light of the Moon, did not feel like it had interesting plots in it. Does that make sense? Like they buried
Yeah.
and muddled them up so much that I'm like, this is no longer fun to watch. So for that reason, it's just I don't know what they did, if it was the way they ordered it or something. Just fucking boring. So for that reason, I'm also going to give it a 5. Because at least what it has going for it is that the plots are interesting. That's all I can say. At least conceptually, they are interesting. So episode 212, The Descent. What are you ranking it, Jordan?
Now, when I initially watched this episode, I had a very similar feeling to the previous episode, but I feel like at least for this episode in the middle, or at least like I feel like with the Elena Rose plot, that was like a very strong plot. It had like a lot of thriller/horror elements that I liked. It was just fun to watch. So like that plot in of itself, I think really does save this episode.
Correct.
The Matt, Caroline, Tyler love triangle was like okay to watch, but like nothing really happened there. We just have like Caroline is still indecisive, hasn't really made a choice. The Jules plotline. Oh, what did she even do this episode? She
causes
like
problems on purpose.
Yeah.
I think
like
I that problems on purpose.
Iconic.
like that was like and then we have Stefan calling Isabel and also so like I will say the Rose, Elena, and then also Damon plot line of this episode really did save it. Otherwise it would be on the sit. I feel like though that entire thing ran throughout the entire episode, unlike the last episode where the Tyler plotline literally came in like near the last fourth of the episode, and that was like the most interesting thing. While at least with this plotline with Elena, Rose, and Damon, like it runs throughout the entire episodes and really keeps me like wanting more and like really interested in the episode. So I think with that, I'm gonna give it like a 7.
Oh,
A 7. Okay, that's fair. What are you giving it, Brian?
yeah. I'm gonna do an 8 because I just really what saved the episode for me was the Rose and Damon scene. Like that literally is the one. Oh, I love it so much. Like it's I love it. And also Elena fighting Rose. Like, mwah.
It was very good. The horror element, the Elena and Rose moments in this episode were just chef's kiss. Absolutely out of the water. Far and away
good,
the
so
best
good.
things in this episode. I think I'm gonna go with Jordan and give it a 7.
Okay, fair.
Because the episode is mostly about Elena and Rose. I feel like since that I thought that plot line was good, I must therefore enjoy the rest of it. Therefore I kind of have to ignore that. Although I will say, by far and away, 2 of the weakest episodes that we've seen in season 2 thus far. Far and away.
Yeah.
Even just from like a structural standpoint. The way they are structured and the pacing and the characters, like the character allocation, just bad.
And the fact that this episode is both the end of a season, like a mid-season finale, and then the beginning of a premiere shocks me so much because I feel like up until this point, at least, the episodes have been so good and like so like just like this episode, this is how it's moving the story forward, and like these are the things that's happening. We're using our characters very well, and like this is like supposed to be like, oh, now we're gonna leave you on this note and come back to you with this note. If I was watching this live, I would not be sure if this show was still worth watching, because like these were both so lackluster. Like it's just not a good use of a mid-season finale or mid-season premiere.
I will say though,
Damn, is this a read?
I will say though, because Brian, you said that it was like December 11th for
Yeah, it was like December,
and then January.
like beginning of December, end of January.
Okay, I will say that may just be holiday timing. It might not have been hyped up as a mid-season finale. It was just like the break for the holidays.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like that's more, because you are correct, right? TVD finales, season 1 fucking slapped. They know how to do a finale. This is not like a mid-season finale.
Even though they didn't have like a mid-season finale, the middle point of the season was very good.
Mm-hmm. But that is still valid, that it like did not feel exciting at all. Like not a good send-off episode, even if you're just going into a little bit of a break. Maybe they just didn't realize how these episodes would fall. I don't know. Just fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But also it's the midpoint of a season, you know? Like even if it's not a finale, I feel like those parts are important. So like for you to like, I don't know, do like this bad of a job, I don't know. I just think that's like a bad idea.
You are correct.
Yeah. It's fair.
So that's it. Next week we will be watching season 2, episode 13 and 14, Daddy Issues and Crying Wolf.
I have daddy issues, don't worry.
Great episode names. Great episode names.
Yeah,
something we as a podcast deeply relate to.
Yes.
So catch us next week. New episodes come out every Friday, and catch us on Twitter at Afterbite Pod, on any sort of podcast service as Afterbite. And if you want to, leave us a voice memo or find other podcast services on Anchor. That's where that's our central hub. But do follow us on Twitter at Afterbite Pod. That's where you get all the cool, good behind the scenes memes where we roast Brian, just drag him for fucking filth. And memes. That's it. That's the podcast.
Yeah. Also follow us on Spotify. We are now at 85 Spotify followers.
Oh, love that for us. So follow us on Spotify and like Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review or a 5-star rating, please, please, please. It does help way more than you know. And Brian, I'm looking directly at you, you iPhone ass motherfucker. Leave us a 5-star rating on this podcast that you're on.
I'm sorry, I don't have an iPhone anymore.
Really?
After arguing about it
for like 3 minutes.
Anyway,
I stay with like
my don't have an iPhone.
With my iPad in my drawer, with my iPhone right here, and on my MacBook computer, wearing my AirPods. I don't have an iPhone.
Anyway, catch us next week.
Hasn't come out yet.
Catch us next week.
I'm gonna go eat a burrito.
God, Brian, let me finish the outro. We're so close to being done. We are so close. Give me 30 more seconds to tell everybody to stay home, stay safe, and wash your fucking hands. There, Brian. Now you can do your bullshit. Just talk all you fucking want, because I'm gonna fade out and then the music's gonna come up. Go ahead.
Eat a burrito.